Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to the Snyder Cut, continuing Zack Snyder's Justice League, going straight into part 3 now. We have officially watched the first two parts, and they were great. They were great, absolutely great. Going into part 3 now. So last time, part 2, we had the Age of Heroes, and honestly, it was, as good of a version of the kind of the first battle for the mother boxes and the first battle for Earth against Steppenwolf, against Darkseid and Steppenwolf and all of the other people at the hands of the Amazons and the Atlanteans and the ancient humans and the Lanterns and everything. It was as good as that battle could have gone in this version than I had imagined. So we had like an entire chapter dedicated um to kind of exploring the history of that battle and what it meant and what the mother boxes were and what they were kind of like why they were so dangerous, and especially why they were so dangerous in Darkseid and Steppenwolf's hands, and exactly what Steppenwolf is doing. Like, he's actually trying to reconquer the Earth for Darkseid after he failed the first time around, and he owes Darkseid like 50,000 worlds after his mistake that led to a betrayal, or at least what was interpreted as betrayal. So he is in contact with Daysard, who I believe is another one of Darkseid's kind of like generals or disciples, or just one of his kind of higher ranking followers that actually kind of does maybe some commanding himself. So he was in contact with him, and yeah, Steppenwolf kind of swore to redeem himself and to regain Darkseid's trust and allegiance and stuff like that. So this movie will likely be kind of somewhat focused on him, whilst also featuring Darkseid. We haven't seen a lot of Darkseid, especially in the trailer. So I think on the one hand, I feel like it could be because that like they are saving the bigger Darkseid stuff for the movie itself, so people can genuinely be surprised. But on the other hand, it's like maybe it's because Zack doesn't want to disappoint us, because maybe Darkseid really isn't in this all that much. I don't know which one to go with. I don't know which kind of assumption to go with. But either way, I'm just going to take things as they come and then leave my thoughts for afterwards. But yeah, so we had Diana recognizing the warning flame, and she then was led down to the cave by the arrow that was a key to like a room of wall paintings and everything that chronicled the battle against Darkseid and what it meant for the future of humanity. So now, and then she she relayed that message onto Bruce and told him about the mother boxes and told him about the battle and stuff like that. And I think my favorite moments from that battle were easily the Lantern dying, not so much, but the Lantern being there. Like, he still maintained the fact that there was just one Lantern. Like, of all the allies from the stars they could muster, just one Lantern picked up the phone and actually came running, and then he ended up dying anyway. So that was good. That was. I mean, it wasn't cool, but it was what it was. It was what it was. I think the R rating definitely came in at points, like Steppenwolf versus the Amazons in the first part, with him, I think, beheading an Amazon, and then in part 2, Darkseid actually chopping the hand off of the Lantern and trying to grab the ring, only to be stopped by stopped by the Greek gods. And speaking of Greek gods, Ares went toe to toe with Darkseid and actually took him out. He didn't take him down, but he took him out. Well, I think he did take him down. He didn't really. I think to took him out would imply that he actually killed him, but he literally swung his axe into his shoulder, and Darkseid bled out on his own ship. But he was saved and retreated by his parademons, and then they all kind of left by, okay, like, our leader is out, Darkseid is down for the count, so we need to kind of retreat and come back another day. So Ares, the guy who hates humanity in the future, is ironically enough the one who actually ends up saving them saving them from Darkseid's grip in the past. I mean, with the help of other warriors, of course. Like all the Amazons were there, the gods were there, the humans were there, but Ares was the one who actually went straight toe to toe with Darkseid and actually just did his thing. He even chopped his spear thing in half, and then took him out too. So gotta give it to Ares. But we had that. We had in the future, we had Volko warning Arthur too. We see that Arthur doesn't really give much of a damn about actually protecting Atlantis until Steppenwolf comes. I presume that attack from Steppenwolf on Atlantis is still coming, and at that point he will actually come by and realize the gravity of the situation. He will actually then start to defend stuff and actually fight Steppenwolf too. So the last two mother boxes are in human hands with Silas, but also with in Atlantis too. So the Themysciran one has been taken. And so yeah, there's just two more left, and then I think that those battles will be coming, and we'll see exactly how kind of brief or how extensive those fights are, and how those fights go. So yeah, so I'm curious to see how the rest of this unfolds, because I think most of what we've seen from these first few chapters already seems pretty familiar. I think there is some new stuff, there is obviously some new stuff, and maybe and some extensions too that we didn't see in the first cut. But for the most part, it always there already is that kind of feeling of like familiarity with some scenes that we've already seen that was in the original cut. So yeah, I'm curious to see how when the kind of more hardcore Snyder scenes and Snyder kind of shots actually come in, and to see what bigger, more significant changes he's actually made to the story and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to part 3. This just like with the just like with part 1 and part 2, this one will only be the highlight reel of reactions from part 3. So if you guys want to catch the full length reaction for part 3, that one will be over on Patreon. Depending on where you are in the world, you just need your own copy of the movie, and you can sync it up, and it will be good to go. So that one will be just as exciting to watch. But yeah, on to part 3 of the Snyder Cut. Let's go. Central City. We're gonna see Barry then. We're gonna meet Barry.
Really? No.
Okay, yeah. I think he mentioned dogs don't like him.
Here. I'm so sorry.
Iris!
I'm late.
Iris West, okay. Oh, this must be the scene where he saves her. Yeah. Is that a Big Belly Burger?
Wow,
Tell me that's Big Belly Burger. No, don't do it, don't pull out. Oh yeah, and he saves, this is what happens. Oh, that's a cool shot. The one seed on a burger, that's a cool shot. Whoa. Oh, he broke out of his shoes. Whoa, that. Jeez. Oh my god. Oh, this is already so much more physically accurate than The Flash. Oh, he's actually saving a hot dog for later. Jesus, what is this, Barry? Hungry for food or heroism? Very fitting music choice. Very fitting. Oh, yeah. R.I.P. to anyone who's within like 5-10 meters of that, or even feet. Don't eat and drive. You gotta eat, park it first, and then drive. Yeah. Oh, are those parademons? Those are parademons. Oh, wait, are those Atlanteans? Oh, those are Atlanteans. Oh yeah, those are Atlanteans. Wow. Can they even survive on the ground? On land?
The scent is on you.
Jeez.
Where is it?
No son or daughter of Atlantis will ever tell you.
Oh, jeez, oh, cracked his head open, oh. Oh, no.
I'll never betray my own people.
Oh, it's scanning his memories, scanning his brain. Yeah, the frickin' face spider that just scans his brain.
He said he'll fight with us?
More or less.
More or more less?
Probably more or less.
He said no.
He said no.
I always love that scene from the trailer. I always love that scene.
My people went to war with them once.
Man, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna need to be open to more things that we haven't. You know.
I'm sorry. That's
fault.
okay.
Don't worry about it. It happens.
So,
This is the third person.
Don't know if they're gonna go that route, but you know what? Let's see where they take us. Let's see where things take us.
Your son may be captain of the football team and a certified genius, Mrs. Stone.
Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone.
But that doesn't mean he can hack into our system to change his friend's grades.
Oh, he's a computer whiz too. Huh.
Lost their houses here. Victor helped her because he's got a good heart. What did you do to help her?
That's a good question. What did you do besides make things harder for her? So he knows his way around the field. He was good / great at football. Yeah. Going in for the touchdown. There we go. Yeah, oh yeah, and his mother, yeah. Oh. Silas isn't there. Silas, his dad, isn't there.
Hey. With everything I know you can do today, I can't wait to see what you can be tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus.
Your wife didn't survive.
Oh, his mum died.
I'm afraid your son won't either.
His son barely survived, just hanging on. Oh, yeah, he lost everything. I'm curious what the design for Cyborg looks like now. If it looks different, like Steppenwolf does. Oh, okay. Oh, he looks pretty similar. He looks fairly similar to the 2017 version. Yeah. Flight systems engaged. Yeah. Bit of practice. Damn.
Your will.
Damn. We never got this for Cyborg. I'm very happy to be seeing this now.
Its
Again.
entire nuclear arsenal you could launch with a thought.
Oh yeah, he controls the world's nuclear codes. Yeah. Damn. Is he watching someone random, or is it someone he knows? Oh. Whoa! Oh, damn. Yeah! She won the Gotham National Bank Challenge. Ah. See, he has a good heart. Despite having no human heart, I don't think he still has a heart.
Victor, these are the words and deductions of a scientist.
And people still look and judge.
That's how I've been speaking to you.
God damn it.
Look, man, I don't know who you are, but whoever you're looking for, it's not me.
How about now? Bartholomew Henry Allen? Is it still not you? Yeah, that's a batarang, and he threw it, which must mean he's Batman.
If you put the water in first,
Of course.
so we don't scald the tea.
Ah, tea. Okay.
Great.
Diana and Alfred. That's a great combination. Yeah.
You sure you don't want to have some?
I won't, thank you. And then leave it.
I will. I will definitely.
Oh, that's amazing.
Maybe you should a fraction.
Of course.
Slightly, thank you.
Oh. So is that how he can block the parademon shots like he did in the trailer? That's how he can actually use his gauntlets to block them. Yeah.
Maybe you should work on a lasso too, in black, of course.
An all black Wonder Woman suit. I think maybe dark red would be more her color. Yeah, like Wonder Girl's suit from Titans. Yeah.
Then maybe you already know I need your help. The world does.
Fuck the world.
Oh damn!
You've obviously.
He was not afraid to drop that F-bomb.
The inner core of the matter becomes superheated. Hot, dense matter. You're looking at the hottest thing on Earth. Exact words I said to my prom date. She dumped me anyway. Hey, Doc.
Oh crap! Oh, the parademon's there. Oh, damn it!
Sketch of the suspect in the abductions at the lab across the harbor.
Looks like a
I know
bat.
what it looks like, Crispus. Come on, you think he fights criminals for 20 years here and then he goes to Metropolis and kidnaps 8 people? I'll talk to him tonight.
How, Jim?
How do you think?
The great big bat signal. Yeah, they don't look anything like bats. I mean, minus the wings are much smaller than they're actually drawing. The wings are much smaller than they're describing.
You must be Barry. I'm Diana.
Hi, Barry, I'm Diana. That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is us.
Yeah, this is
He's as short-sighted as he is cruel. All right, take what men we have left and form a phalanx around the mother box.
Did she turn British or something, or like some kind of amalgamation of British? She did not sound American, and she was American in the movie. Parademons, They're gonna jump out. No, Steppenwolf himself. No, the big guy himself. The big guy himself. Ugh. Oh, yep, cutting through the water. Oh, Jesus. Wow, he's literally ripping people apart. Oh, he's ripping people, he's chopping them in half.
You can't escape.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah, she turned British. Whoa. Oh. Started to suck the blood out of his face too. Oh, there he is, the king of Atlantis. Oh, damn. Ooh. Jeez. Oh, grab him by the horns, grab him by the horns. Oh, he's got the second one. He's got the second one. That was very quick. That was pretty quick.
You cannot imagine how it hurt her. What it cost her. Sure, not a defenseless
Why
child
they
now.
changed the voice, I do not know. The bat signal, follow that signal. You will be led straight back to Diana. Follow that signal.
Interrogate the prisoners. Find them there. They will tell me what they know, or I will rip it from them.
Oh, that's not encouraging. Is that the end of part 2, part 3, even part 4? Okay. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So yeah, that was part 3. That was part 3 of Justice League. Yeah. So we met. Okay. So let's start off with Barry. I think I've written somewhat less down for Barry, and there's a reason for that, which I will get to. But let's start with Barry. So we met Barry, and his opening in this is unarguably much better than the opening we got in the original cut. And yeah, so we see him on the way to kind of like go for like a job interview of sorts, and then he met Iris too. He met Iris, we met Iris. They actually met at the same kind of pet store, pet place type thing, and yeah, like that scene alone, like him. The scene of him saving Iris, like that scene alone, had more. I feel like it had more realistic kind of physics and realistic environmental interaction than any of the scenes of than any of the scenes in CW's. I mean, unarguably that's also because for this one, Zack had a bigger budget, so he could afford to make things more realistic. But also because they're maybe like they are two different Flashes, so that their power levels could vary. Their power levels and their connection to the Speed Force could vary. Because I think with this one, with this Barry, his lightning literally just looks like natural white blue lightning. It doesn't look gold or yellow like the Flash does. And in that version, the color of your lightning does pretty much. And I think even in the comics, the color of your lightning does determine your connection to the Speed Force. So with this one, he doesn't really necessarily have blue lightning, but he does also just look like natural kind of electricity flowing around and flying about everywhere, and like those effects, the way he moves and everything is so different. Like, the way he moves too, he literally even before he started running, as soon as he lifted up his heels and started actually wanting to take a step forward, his feet literally just ripped straight out of the shoes. Like that took me by surprise. Like wow, like his own shoes. Unlike on the Flash, his own shoes cannot withstand the force of his foot. Like his foot muscles actually moving that distance at that speed, so his feet literally without shoes. And then even the way it looked when he actually pressed through the glass door, like the glass actually rippled like it was water, and then it actually shattered into like tens of thousands of pieces. Like that kind of effect was really cool too. Just showing him pushing the boundaries of the water, and the boundaries of the glass, even making it look like it was rippling like water. And then as he's actually passing through it, it's like he's not phasing through it. He's definitely coming into actual physical kind of contact with it. So he eventually has to rip through it. So then once he does, then the glass actually shatters and comes pouring out and everything. And then even as he's running, he's kind of tiptoeing. He's not even running. He's basically just kind of hopping from place to place, tiptoeing. And then when he finally comes to a stop, he skids. Like even on the Flash, he does skid. He does skid on the Flash. But with this one, when he skids, his feet actually go kind of digging into the actual road, into the concrete, into like the tarmac, and you can see his feet digging in and creating like digging holes and leaving off tracks where his feet have been. Like that effect is really cool. And yeah, and then him somewhat kind of being in flash time as well as he did it, and him actually saving Iris. And he took his damn time saving Iris. He wanted to kind of stroke the hair out of her face and admire her beauty, and then to grab a hot dog out of the air as well and stuff. And then he fed that to the to the dogs later on. But yeah, I think that scene, it flowed really well, and I think in the moment I was kind of stuck between admiring the physics and also admiring the actual like the way that scene was actually executed. The fact that it like there was little to no kind of background kind of sound effects or anything like that. Like 90% of it was pretty much the song that Zack chose to play it. So I mean, it had like at first it seemed like a really a peculiar choice of music, like. Because I mean, I guess like the two choices he had were to go with that kind of a song, like a lyrical kind of song, or maybe to go with like some kind of good old fashioned kind of sci-fi kind of music that seemed hopeful or cheery or scientific or like sci-fi even rather, but for his own preference, he actually went with actual lyrical music, and I think towards the end, it sounded like a fairly appropriate kind of song. I think for the whole thing, it kind of just seems like okay, it fits in okay, but like the way like that visually, the way that scene was constructed, the way that whole thing happened, even dialogue wise, and before and after the speed is activated, it just kind of it really fits in. It's a really really fun way to meet Barry and to get to know his powers right off the bat. Like this guy has super speed. And it affects the environment around him too, so he doesn't want to get away scot free. But he has powers. He found this girl that he ran into at the pet store, really cute, and he saved her life in the end too. So he literally saved her. So I think definitely a different way of meeting him than definitely a different way of meeting her than compared to the TV show. I shouldn't compare to the TV show because it's been established that they are different universes, and more so by the fact that we actually had both Barrys meeting each other in Crisis on Infinite Earth. So I'm curious because I think they filmed that scene. One of the most notable things about that cameo was the fact that they actually filmed it with different aspect ratios, but that aspect ratio was not this aspect ratio. So I'm highly doubtful they're gonna introduce that scene into this in any way. I don't know if or when they're ever gonna try and use that scene. Maybe in a second Justice League movie if they ever do decide to make one. But they use that to establish the fact that there is like a multiverse and there is another Barry out there, and then both the Barrys know about them now. Because I think Barry is a Paragon, so he maintained all the kind of memories of the multiverse pre and post Crisis, so he should remember meeting like another version of him in the Speed Force. And also this one is also aware of the Speed Force, but just in like a much more different way, like not in a way that he can actually interact with it, but just like he's aware of it being like another dimension where he gets his actual powers from. So yeah, and I think I did make a comment during the reaction that I mean it's dependent on whether or not it'll be included or not. I did make a kind of comment saying that he would be like it will change his life to actually be hit by the lightning too. I know that was in the moment it sounded like a kind of like a witty comment to make, but then after like a few seconds of consideration, I was like, wait, no, this is after he gets his power, so he would have already been struck by the lightning. But anyway, But yeah, so that was cool. So yeah, man, I mean, even his meeting Iris, that was really fun to watch, and definitely different from the TV show, which like the TV show showed him having known her since childhood. But with this one, there didn't really seem to be any recognition between them. It was just like they just ran into one another at a pet store with no prior engagement, and then he saved her life after she went flying from her car and stuff. So it's an interesting way to set up that kind of backstory, and also makes me curious to see I mean the Flash movie is happening, so I'm under the belief that Iris will be involved in it somehow. But I mean, besides from that, Barry had pretty much besides from that one scene, I feel like the majority of Barry's scenes in this were pretty much the same. I think he had some extension with he had like a different this scene was completely new and not at all included in the original cut. But then the prison scene, like him actually going to meet his dad, that scene was modified. Like the dialogue in that scene was definitely modified. That was actually revamped for this cut, and that was a super cool version to see. So that version of Henry Allen is also kind of adamant that that Barry kind of leave him behind and go on with his own life and stops, especially like stop staying in Central City, like go out there, see what else is out there for you, just leave me here and stuff like that. And then Barry kind of confirm, like they kind of go to the lengths of confirming, yep, same backstory. His mother was killed and his dad would like took the heat for the crime, even though he didn't actually kill her. So of already kind of confirmations of Reverse Flash being there. I mean, he didn't mention like the man in yellow or like the man or like a man that was too fast to see or anything like that. He just mentioned that his mother died and his dad was actually charged with the crime even though he didn't commit it, and so that's why Barry got into criminal justice. So I think even in the TV show he does actually explain that's why he actually got into being a CSI too, so he could actually help kind of solve crimes that no one else would or solve crimes that no one else could. And stuff, so yeah. But with this one, he's not yet a CSI. He's still working for his degree. He's still kind of he's still working to actually pay for his tuition and working to get his degree. So he's nowhere near a CSI just yet. But he's getting there. So interesting kind of setup for Barry Allen. And then his meeting with Bruce and his meeting with Diana. Those two scenes practically ran exactly the same. That. They ran it exactly the same, and I think even in the theatrical version, I didn't hate those scenes like it seemed. The main concern going into Justice League, into that version of Justice League for me, meeting Barry was actually having already adapted so well and so much to Grant Gustin's Barry that I was skeptical as to what this version of Barry would be like, and obviously the theatrical version did not really do him any favors. It didn't really do him much justice. I'm curious to see how this version actually further develops his character and what they do with him to help set up Flashpoint, but also just how they kind of incorporate him into this kind of version of the story as well. So I'm curious as to how that happens. I think so far the introduction already has me kind of liking where they're going with this. The introduction itself was already like a much better opening than we got in the theatrical, and everything else. I think his meeting with Bruce and Diana just kind of felt, it felt okay. It felt like the kind of right way to, or the right way to go. I think it reminded me that his meeting with Bruce just seemed to have some odd pacing. Even in the theatrical version, I think I always felt that way. His the dialogue and the way they met and how fast that scene flowed. It just kind of felt it just felt like it had really weird pacing. It felt like I was watching the scene from the trailer again with no extra dialogue, or with little to no extra dialogue, or with little to no kind of extra kind of scenery or anything. It just seemed like they literally took the kind of they took the scene from the trailer and then threw it back at you and stuff like that. And we didn't really see much of that one from from Barry meeting Diana. That was still kind of fresh for the movie, but then him meeting Bruce was kind of teased for us already, so it didn't really feel much different. But either way, I think they still did a decent job of actually introducing Barry to us in this one. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what more Zack actually does with him in future parts of this movie. So that will be very fun to see. So yeah, and then we met Cyborg. We met Victor Stone first. We met the man before the machine first and foremost, and I think that was definitely backstory that we needed. We got little to no Victor Stone in the original cut of Justice League, and that was a problem. I mean, even what we got from Cyborg seemed very, very minimalistic, and it just seemed like, oh, he's here, he's a cyborg, he has some connection to the mother box, just deal with it, stuff like that. But with this one, we actually got some backstory to who he was and what he was like. He was presumably like a high level kind of high school footballer. But he was also a computer whiz. That kind of surprised me. He was also a computer. I think because I figured that because of the fact that I figured that once he became Cyborg, because of the fact that he was so kind of ubiquitously connected to technology, then that would have forced him to become a computer whiz. That he would have no choice but to actually open his mind and see all this code and see all these systems kind of just in unison connected around him. I figured he would have become a computer whiz after that, but no, he was still. I think he was still somewhat of a computer whiz even before that. He went online and he actually changed a friend's grades for her because what was it? I think I think she and her family lost their house. I think over the summer or something. Like she I think she lost something. I think it was their house. But she lost something, so that then took a toll on her mental health, and it kind of pulled her back from being able to study as effectively as she could have, and then from actually passing. So then the school did nothing. The school didn't waiver her and like anything or give her like mitigating circumstances or anything like that. Like the school did literally nothing to help her, and to add insult to injury, the headmaster literally had more issue with Victor actually helping her get a more accurate grade that would have actually spoken more justice on her part as a learner than the fact that that she actually had troubling circumstances to begin with, and then the fact that the school did nothing to help her. So he had more problem with Victor, and even his mother stood by him. Even her mother stood by him, saying like his friend had all these problems and you did nothing. He at least had a good heart and actually tried to prove that she has the potential. Just give her just give her the right environment to work in and give her the time she needs to prepare herself. Especially when in due time of any kind of personal tragedies and everything. But yeah, like his mother fully stood by him. His mother fully stood by him and understood why he did what he did and everything. So that was really, really cool. So showing that he actually did kind of have like friends and like a social life and like a life before all of this stuff happened. And then we cut to him actually being a high school footballer and even scoring a touchdown and winning the match. And then he sees his mum there. He sees his mother in the crowd. He sees his mother waving with like four hands and cheering and everything. And then he looks to her side, and the seat where his dad would be or should be is empty. So his dad was definitely that kind of dad, being like a star lab scientist. His dad was almost always kind of held back in the lab and working late nights and never really showed up to his matches or never really took like part in any of his kind of school life. So he definitely held a grudge towards his dad for that. So that was that, and then he even felt all the more worse for it on the ride home. And then came the accident. So yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten very far in Doom Patrol, as you can probably tell by my very, 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 very staggered reactions. But in Doom Patrol, the way the accident went, as far as I've gotten in, I don't know if they actually kind of changed that or if that's just like one interpretation. But in that one, there was actually like a lab explosion that actually gave him his injuries that then forced his dad to rebirth him as Cyborg. But then like a lab accident that actually killed his mother. But in this one, it's a car accident. It's a car accident that just completely killed his mother, so she didn't survive at all. And as we saw from Victor on the hospital bed, missing his arm and his legs, and we can tell from the fact that he has a robot eye, he actually lost half his head too. And even from the footage where he's actually drawn up on the actual kind of working board and he's plugged in and the motherbox is working on him, he actually lost like pretty much half his body, like 80 to 70% of his body, or 70 to 80% rather. He lost that much of his body, so he barely survived. He was literally hanging on for dear life, no pun intended. But yeah, so then he didn't survive, so he barely survived. So then Victor actually used kind of like cyborg body parts, and then used the mother box to actually bring him back to life too. I mean, I don't know if I can't remember if he actually intentionally used the mother box, or if the mother box or if the mother box just kind of sensed life in him. Because I think the mother box is used to create. They're like, I mean, yeah, technically it is used to create, just not the right things. Like it's used to create like new stuff, and or at least actually create something. I mean, yeah, I think maybe it can be kind of like it's maybe kind of malleable. It can be modified to serve a particular purpose. So like if you wanted to create something in particular, then you can make it do that. You can actually set it to actually create like very particular worlds or something. So I guess that counts. But I think in Victor's case, I think maybe like because it was just one of them, like there was no unity involved. There was no unification involved. It was just one box that sensed like the faintest bit of life inside of Cyborg and thought, hey, let's amplify this, and then decided to actually unite all of his body parts together and everything too, and decided to actually to give him that boost of life he actually needed. So yeah, that was Cyborg. That was very, very well executed, very much well needed Cyborg backstory that actually didn't actually flesh out his character a lot more, and I really appreciate Zack being able to do that and actually going forth and doing that, and actually establishing Cyborg as a character and showing us what he's been through and stuff. So yeah, and then afterwards we see what we expect. The fact that he actually holds a grudge against his dad for turning him into this, for making him this, and stuff like that. So then his dad does then afterwards leave him a little videotape player with a message. So he's like, if you can't look at me, then I get it, but just at least listen to me, at least let me explain to you what you can do now. So he actually gives him like a vocal run through of his powers and what he can do. So he can fly. He's got a flight system that he's kind of pretty much mastered, and I think I like that too. Like he listens to his dad, and his dad is using that to tell him everything he can do. So then he's listening to the voice, and I think maybe because of his grudge, maybe because of his feelings towards his dad, he kind of pretends maybe like it's more like an instructional voice more than it is his dad's voice. Like he like having to just listen to the voice. He is still reminded of his dad, but then he focuses on the voice rather than actually the face that the voice is coming out of. So then he actually starts to internalize and consume that a little bit better. But then his dad actually does explain to him what he can do now, and his powers are extensive. Like, he is Cyborg, he can hack into any system, into any network, into anything he wants within a matter of minutes. And even that scene with like him, waving all the nukes away, like he has access to the world's nuclear codes too, so he can literally do anything he wants with those. Like, not that he would start a nuclear war, but still, he still has that kind of power. He can control like electronics and telecommunications. Literally, he is connected to anything and everything electronic. Anything with an electronic signal or any kind of power or function like that, he can connect to. And I think what was really, really cool was that he also has like a mind palette. So like the camera actually went into his eye and showed him, showed us like what it was like inside his head, and you can even see like in the horizon there was like that circle that I think maybe represented his eyes a little bit, but then on the inside it's like actually he's in his own mind, and he still envisions himself. Like I think because he wants to return, he wants things to return back to the way they were, because he wants to be what he used to be years ago. Like he still kind of yearns to be human again, to be fully human again, to be actually like organically human again. So he actually envisions himself still in his football jersey, well, not his jersey, his football jacket, and then being fully human with no red eye and stuff like that. So he still imagines that, and then he goes into, I think he went into what looked like an actual Greek kind of column, kind of shrine palace thing. Like he actually went into like a Greek building of sorts. So inside there were I think what looked like databanks of some kind, and he actually I think it was a really sweet scene. It was a really, really sweet scene. Like honestly, it's just such a heartwarming scene to see. But I don't know. I think they didn't really say who she was. I don't know if she's actually anyone of like significance, or if he was just looking through random CCTV cameras and came across this woman. But like this woman with a child, with a job, I think at like a local diner. I think she was actually collecting tips and cleaning up plates from like a local diner. So she had like a minimum wage job there, and then she actually had a son of her own who celebrated his birthday most recently, and she also kind of I think got locked out of her own apartment and had like a notice of some kind of. So she was actually struggling alone. Like she was actually struggling financially. So he then takes the money, like the little money she has. Like I think even on the ATM it said like your balance is like $11.03 or something. So he took that, like before it showed that he actually took the little money she had, enlarged it to a giant stack, and then went forward and did that. And he was even watching from like 10 feet away as she was at the ATM. And I think that must have had that should have happened. That it could have, should have, must have happened in real time. Like him actually watching her struggle to actually get enough money out of the ATM, and actually just then hacking into the ATM and giving her all the money she needs under the pretense of it being like her being like the winner of the Gotham National Bank competition or some kind of thing. Like then she actually won like $100,000. So he actually gave her the money. She that was honestly the sweetest scene, the sweetest possible scene. And I think it kind of made me want to, because then I said like, oh, even like the man without a heart still has a heart. Because I think like physically speaking, I don't know if he actually still has. I mean, I think he'd kind of have to be alive. Even though he is like 90% cyborg now, he has like a power core inside him. I think he wouldn't even need his heart. He wouldn't really even need it like an actual human heart. But I don't know if that's like something that Silas was able to salvage. Because I think even from the body, even from the body parts that they salvage, like the only thing that even seems to have remained is like his face or like his head, like even like a portion of his head, like enough of his head to make up a face, but then the rest of him is fully metal and cyborg and mechatronic, as Diana said. Like from the body, like even from the body parts they salvaged, if it kind of looks like they actually lost more than they salvaged after working on him and turning him into cyborg, and then everything else is now just completely non-human. But either way, it's like I think it's fair to say the statement still stands: the man without a human heart still has a metaphorical and loving and giving and selfless heart. He still, and I think it's proof that it's proof that he would only use his powers for good. He sees a woman in need of some help, and so like a friendly hand, like a person in need, and he gives her the money she needs to actually get back on her feet again and to actually do something good. So that was so sweet. That was so sweet. And I think again, like that alone, like that goes to like it kind of serves those kind of those two different kinds of those two different kinds of messages. That on the one hand, it's like he is a hero. He is actually he has the world's nuclear codes in his hands. He has the world's nuclear code that is disposable, but he would much rather put his powers towards helping someone in need, like doing something as arguably simple as giving someone the money they need to actually support themselves and their family and their children and stuff. Anyone else would likely be tempted by all this other power, and they might even try and keep the money for themselves. But he actually sees someone else in need, someone else who actually direly needs help, and he decides to help them. And it just goes to show like the power of helping people, the power of the true power of being a hero is actually helping someone, no matter how big or small the task is. Now he's actually like in this part he's actually helping like another woman get back on her feet and actually helping her support her family. 2 parts from now he's going to be fighting Steppenwolf and his army of parademons. So it goes to show you heroes can come from anywhere and they can do anything so long as they're helping people. They're heroes. So I think that's the beauty of the Snyder Cut. This is not something you would get in the Whedon Cut. This is the beauty of the Snyder Cut, that people who help others are heroes. People who help others are heroes, and I'm actually tearing up now thinking about that scene again, because it was honestly just seeing that in action, just seeing him doing that, because it wasn't even anything again, you think of superheroes, you think of people who typically go around fighting baddies and saving the day, but then like a superhero to someone else could just be someone who actually gives them a helping hand when they need it, and someone who actually gives them the assistance and the aid they need. In this case, like financial aid, actually giving her what she needs to get back up again, and even when she has nothing, even when she has nothing, she was still on that camera actually giving some money to like a homeless guy with a guitar and everything. I think at first I thought she was the homeless person, but then I was like, that wouldn't work because she still has a job to go to, and they wouldn't let you do that if you were homeless. But no, even when she has so little for herself, she still finds something to give to a homeless person on the streets, and then he sees that, and I think that is also something that that could have actually further helped him identify her as a person in need. That he even kind of thought he could have even thought to himself wow, she has so little for herself and for her son, and yet she still finds something to give to other people, because she knows what it's like. She knows what it's like to have so little and to need something. So god damn it. Damn it, yeah, it's just so good. That is the kind of stuff we need. That is the kind of stuff we need to establish him as a good person and as a hero and someone, and then I think it hits even harder when he's then walking back down the street and, he has his hood down, and, I think it's like a momentary lapse of kind of awareness of his environment. He feels so good about helping someone else for a few seconds that he forgets to actually hood back up and, hide himself away from the real world, and then the moment that 2 people actually see him, they just kind of quickly jump to the side of the sidewalk, and then they stare at him as he walks by, and then seeing the shock on their faces, he's reminded of how he actually looks and how society actually treats him. So it's like that quick, that's such a split second shift in that kind of tone, like going from him feeling good about helping someone and actually not being a friend, like forgetting to cover himself back up, but also feeling good enough about himself because on the inside he actually did something good, both physically and mentally, but then on the outside he still looks different to people, so they're going to treat him differently. It's just, Zack Snyder knows. He just knows. Dude knows how to execute emotional storytelling. He just fucking knows it. I cannot wait for more of this movie. I cannot wait for more of this movie. It's just so, you see those scenes and they happen because like that scene wouldn't even have lasted more than what 5, maybe 10 minutes at most. But then you see just how much happens in those 5 minutes, and it just makes you think. It just really makes you think. So, hats off to you, Zack Snyder. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. Absolutely. And congratulations, congratulations to that woman, the woman in those sequences too, in that story too. She kind of, she definitely, the actress as well who played that character, she did a great job actually, conveying like the kind of character of like a person in need, and someone who would actually not just being there to help further push not just being there to help further push Cyborg's character or Victor's character, but also just being like someone who's commonly seen as like a side character or like just like a background extra, but also in this case being someone who's represented as like a normal human being in need, who's then lucky enough to be helped out by a literal superhero. So hats off to the actress too. I think we didn't really get like a close up of who she is or what she looks like, so I'm not really sure who she's played by, but whoever the actress is, hats off to her too. And hats off to Ray Fisher. Like, this is what Ray Fisher wanted to do with Cyborg when he actually signed on to do Cyborg. He actually wanted to showcase a guy who looks abnormal on the outside, but on the inside he has a heart of gold. Technically a heart of like red gold, it's like a heart of ruby, maybe a heart of ruby, but still metaphorically a heart of gold. He's a hero. He's a good person. Just wants to help people. Which isn't ironic considering that he then like his meeting with Diana, like that seemed a little different too. He said like fuck the world, because I think he does still feel that way, like he knows that there are other people out there who and I think it's also like a case of like he is kind of afraid of actually making himself known and being like here you go, he's aware that if people were to meet him after he did something nice for them, but then they might feel differently, like knowing that he's not really exactly like them. He's still kind of not really entirely human anymore. So he still feels like the world, like majority-wise, the world would still kind of reject him and shun him for who he is now and what he looks like. So that's why the "fuck the world" line came in, like that one F-bomb, the one F-bomb. I don't know if it's gonna be the only F-bomb. I mean, R-rated stuff can have multiple F-bombs. R-rated stuff can have multiple F-bombs. Like just ask Deadpool. But I don't know. But either way, it was great. So then that meeting with Diana was pretty different from the way the theatrical cut had. But either way, it was great stuff. Either way, it was fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm curious, right? We had a couple of scenes. I think mainly one scene, the scene of Bruce and Diana at the computer. Their hands kind of connected when they both went to reach for the mouse, and then they had that thing. I think again it was the briefest thing, like 5-6 seconds of everything, but it was enough to still make me think. And especially it's because of how comically, like canonically, Bruce and Dinah have had like a relationship together. They have been together. They are very kind of shipped and stuff like that. And Bruce and Dinah is like even in the theatrical cut, people did kind of think, oh, there were some scenes here and there that kind of made people think that they could be a thing. Although that could also just be kind of thanks to Joss Whedon's directing. But either way, I think I'm curious. I mean, I won't lie. I won't lie. I am curious as to whether they'll actually have Bruce and Diana try and be a thing in this movie. I think as of yet, I'm neither for nor against it. I'm just waiting to see how things roll. Because a romance of any kind is not. A romance of any kind, besides from one that's already been established, like Lois and Clark, like that kind of stuff. Like I'm expecting a romance there. I'm expecting the romance to return there, but I'm not really expecting a romance anywhere else. I'm just kind of neutral for the time being, but I'm not really sure where to stand. So I guess I'm just gonna wait and see if they actually do try and further into. Because I think again, like that was one scene, so it wasn't really a huge amount to go off of, and it could have just been like an awkward kind of moment between them. It doesn't really have to lead to romance. But I think it is still felt like something noteworthy and still like something worth mentioning. So I'm just kind of curious in that sense. But either way, I guess we'll see what happens. So yeah. And then we had Steppenwolf sending in his parademons to Atlantis, which actually got me questioning, how did he get? Well, I think I was gonna say how did he get his parademons into Atlantis, but then an Atlantean guard did then report back to Mira saying that some of the perimeter guards had been kidnapped, but then the current king anyway, King Orm. So I think this is pre-Aquaman. Like the current king didn't opt to actually send any reinforcements to find out what happened or to even fortify that post where the guards have been taken from. But the parademons found the perimeter guards and kidnapped them, and they were then killed. So I think even that one was pretty graphic. Like Steppenwolf literally grabbed the guard, threw him against the rock, but then you could see as he fell, like a chunk of blood just left dribbling down the rock. So his head actually cracked open or something. So that happened, and then he actually launched like a face, like an electronic alien spider onto his face that scanned his brain and showed him where the mother box was. So he successfully interrogated the Atlanteans, and then he attacked, and then he attacked Atlantis. So that happened. But yeah, so then we actually went back to meeting Arthur and Mira in this, and Mira, I don't know what they did with her. Like, Amber Heard is still there, that's evident, but like her voice, like she's no longer American. I think at some points, like some words sounded American, but like 95% of her dialogue sounded either British or Australian. I don't know. I think the Australian must have been the Australian accent must have been me hearing things, but I'm pretty sure like most of it was like British or like it must have been dubbed over. I think it, for the most part, it still sounded like Amber Heard's voice, but the accent itself was throwing me off. Like, did they turn her British? Like, did they hire her? Like, did they keep like Amber Heard visually to play Mira, but then just hire like another actress to like dub over her voice or something? Because I mean, that I don't remember exactly how that scene must have gone down in the theatrical version. So I don't know if that was reshot by Zack Snyder afterwards, because he did do some reshoots and some additional shoots of his own for his director's cut. But I don't know if that was one of the scenes that he actually reshot for his own cut. So I don't know if for whatever reason he reshot it, but then kept Amber Heard, but then decided to dub over her voice or something. So I don't know, but either way, like her voice threw me off, like her accent threw me off. Like I was like, as soon as she started talking, I was like, wait, that sounds different. And then she started talking more. I was like, that's not an American accent. I'm pretty sure she's American. That's not an American accent. And then she started talking even more, and I was like, yeah, I think either they're making her do like a different accent for whatever reason, or they actually bring in another actress who sounds similar to her, but then either told the actress or got an actress who is actually British or Australian or something. I think again the Australian, I feel like I could be hearing things there, but I'm pretty sure there was some Britishness in there. I'm pretty sure there was some elements of like a British accent in there. So I don't know what was going on there, but either way, we had Aquaman and Mira. So I think it was definitely pre-Aquaman, like the solo movie, because Arthur even mentioned like never having known his mum and then not really caring about this side of his actual heritage and this side of his history and stuff. So he came in at the nick of time. I think even before he got to Mira, Steppenwolf literally kind of ripped apart some Atlanteans and used his axe to kind of chop some in half. So again, the R rating is gone flying through. They're not really afraid to show how brutal and gory Steppenwolf is willing to get what he wants and to complete his mission. So Zack is not afraid to show off Steppenwolf as an actual hard-hitting villain. So then just before he actually got to slice through Mira, Arthur came in and saved her, and then he had the more briefest of fights against Steppenwolf, still kind of throwing in some punches and taking some punches and being launched through the pillar and everything. So he still kind of took and gave hits, so that was cool. But then in the end, Mira actually convinced him to actually go back to the surface and actually fight, because Earth was the one land he actually still cared indefinitely about, and he spent most of his time there. So if he still wants to keep Earth around, if he still wants to live on the Earth in a way that's actually inhabitable, then he needs to actually help the Justice League. I swear I was about to say the Avengers. No, the Justice League. The Justice League needs to help the Justice League actually fight back against Steppenwolf and save the world from him and Darkseid and stop the unification from happening. So yeah, we had Aquaman. And then Silas, along with some other scientists from Star Labs, were kidnapped by parademons. And so Silas was kidnapped from his home. He came back to his home and found the radio, the Walkman thing he smashed, and then his closet raided, and the mother box was missing, and a parademon was already there. Ready to actually abduct him. So he was kidnapped and taken to that same tunnel place we recognize by the parademons. And as he said hi to the other captives, there were other scientists there too. Other scientists who had actually been close to the mother box and who had actually kind of witnessed it or had actually been near it to carry the scent on them. But Silas, who Silas, who directly worked on the mother box with Victor, or on Victor rather, would unarguably have the strongest scent, and he would be interrogated by Steppenwolf the strongest. And even Steppenwolf even reported back to Daystar that he already had one more, and that he only actually needed one more. So Daystar gave him the go ahead to actually interrogate him. So yeah, so now coming up soon. We'll actually see. We'll see Steppenwolf interrogating Silas and seeing how that goes, and then the League will have to unite to actually save Silas and to actually help Victor fight them off, and to fight them off like a round one type thing. So I'm curious to see how that battle might go. I'm very curious to see how that battle might go, and also how long we might take to get there. Because I think now going forward, I think now we might, because I think the first half of this should be pretty much, maybe most of what we've already seen from the theatrical cut now. But I think going forward now, parts 4, 5, and 6 should be pretty much all Snyder stuff, all reshots, and all like additional shots, and all kind of like newer content that we haven't yet seen. So I'm very anxious to see all that stuff and see exactly how this series continues and then eventually concludes. So yeah, this feels like a really weird, it feels like a journey I don't want to end. I've only just started the movie. I've been watching it and reacting to it bit by bit and taking breaks in between to think and process it. But it's now like I'm watching like an entire season of a TV show in one day. It's like I'm watching the weirdest miniseries, because it's meant to be a movie. Like it's not like it was released all in one go, because it is like an all-in-one movie, even though the stuff is broken down into parts. But it's not like a weekly release kind of thing. It's not like they're releasing like an episode a week, like WandaVision or something. So it just feels weird. It's like a journey I really don't want to end. But at the same time, I'm just kind of blitzing through all of this and or binging, I should say, rather, and just getting through it as quickly as possible and seeing all this new stuff. And it's just the weirdest and most exciting, like easily one of the most exciting journeys in superhero media I've had. So I can't wait to get further into this and see what's what. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have. That's pretty much all I've written down. Nothing else really comes to mind in terms of noteworthiness or anything else. Like it feels like most of what we've seen, minus like with some additional stuff like backstory for Barry and additional scenes for Barry and some much needed backstory for Cyborg and stuff like that. So it was very fun in that regard. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have. If I have left anything out, if you think I've left any details, or if there are any details from this part that you want to talk about, absolutely feel free to leave in the comments. And yeah, I just love to see what you guys think of the movie so far and what you think of this part and everything. So yeah, but also remember to keep the comments spoiler free, and to actually, the hope is by the time you see at least this part, by the time you see this kind of like the part 3's reaction, at least, like I will have hopefully finished the entire movie. But still, kind of just keep the just for safety's sake, just keep the comments spoiler free and everything. And then by the time we get to the finale, nothing is off limits. And a finale again, it's not a miniseries, it's a movie. I need to stop thinking of it as a miniseries. It's an actual movie. It's an all-in-one movie. And then I think after reacting to it, I'm definitely gonna need to watch this. I'm definitely gonna need to watch this a second time. So after this, I will definitely find the time to sit down for like 2, 3, 4 hours, and then actually sit down and actually watch this from start to finish in one sitting with some appropriately timed bathroom breaks in between and snack breaks in between and stuff like that. But other than that, I will definitely actually be watching this in one sitting and actually watching it as an actual movie instead of part by part. So yeah, but yeah, that was part 3 of Zack Snyder's Justice League, titled Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought comment on what you thought of the movie, on what you thought of this part of the movie, and what you enjoyed, and what theories you have, and anything like that, and what you look forward to in the next part. And yeah, again, spoiler-free comments for everyone's sake. And once again, if you want to catch the full-length reaction for this part of the movie, then that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. The link for it will also be in the comments, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.